Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back to F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, here for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, my home race. And we're coming in at the end of practice here, getting some lovely resource points, about 700 between the two of us. And we're going to be moving straight into qualifying. Silverstone isn't my best track. For some reason this year's game I just don't seem to gel with it as much as previous years. As we come across the line in Q1 to do our first lap, it's a 1:25.3, and now we're going out at the end of Q1 again to set another lap. But if you look at the MFD at the bottom right of the screen, the multifunction display, you will see that somebody forgot to put new engine components in after practice. I really need to start making a note of this, like a big note on my notice board that says change your engine components after practice, because I just for some reason seem to want to make this career mode more difficult for myself. Anyway, as we're going through all of the corners that I do not know the name for, we're currently 3.5 tenths up, or going to be 3.5 tenths up over our previous best lap time, coming through Cobbs here, one of the corners I do know. Nearly, just around 3.5 tenths up, going through the Maggots and Beckett section. We have a massive snap of oversteer at the exit of Maggots, and that throws our car into the barrier. And that's that. We're out of quali. We were 3 tenths up, maybe 5 or 6 tenths up by the end of the lap, given track evolution. I don't know where I came, so it's going to be an interesting one to look at. But we're still leading the rivalry over Carlos Sainz, which is something. So yeah, let's find out where we are, starting for the British Grand Prix, with the lovely introduction by Anthony Davison and David Croft. I think I've got those the other way around. Yes, it is. So we see actually we are putting in some fresh engine components because we're starting P20 at least. So we might as well start P20. We're starting P22. Man, this is what happens when you do YouTube all day. If you couldn't tell, my voice is shot. It's like it feels like someone is squeezing my throat. I should probably stop and go and lie down. But no, we will power on because I've still got 2 more videos to do. Anyway, let's jump in for the British Grand Prix.
We return once again then to the home of British motorsport and the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone, and it's time for the British Grand Prix. The 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit in Great Britain is hallowed ground to the Formula One faithful. We have 18 corners that wrap around this former World War II airbase, and some good passing opportunities at the end of the DRS zones. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Why don't we start by talking about Valtteri Bottas? That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas, the from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Verstappen, Alexander Albon, and Stroll, Ricciardo, Ocon, Norris, and Daniel Kvyat, Vettel, Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, and Magnussen, Aitken, Raikkonen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Roman Grosjean, Russell, Gasly, Latifi, and Red. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So here we are on the grid for the British Grand Prix. Simple one-stop race, going from the softs to the mediums. We don't want to even be dabbling in the hard tyres, let alone a two-stop. The pit lane's far too long for that, and the tyre wear is so much better than it was on previous games. Although I do miss the days of like multiple different tyres, and I'm talking like F1 2018 was like peak level of enjoyment in terms of strategy for career mode, because you had the hyper softs, you had so many tyres you could have used. Anyway, as much as I want that back of the game, but if the British Grand Prix is 5 red lights and away we go now, get held a bit there. We get a pretty good start actually there compared to Gasly, got caught up behind the back of Russell and Grosjean. As we're going into turn 1 now, it's 3 abreast. Latifi gets held up. I'm guessing cut the corner, I think, so we have to give the position back to Latifi. There we go, straight back up the inside of Latifi. Although he holds it around the outside, so we're not actually going to be able to go around the outside, or maybe we are a bit of a late move around the outside. We're going to get the better exit, we're going to make it work, we're going to put it into overtake. And now we're going to be challenging hopefully Russell and Grosjean going into this next left-hander. Go to the inside of both of them, a little bit of contact between both Russell and Grosjean. We hit Grosjean, we luckily come out there with no damage. Simulation damage being very kind to us here. And we don't get those positions. Unfortunately, now we're going to have to defend from Gasly. Gasly's qualified quite low now, Tauri, so he's going to be one to watch coming through the field. As we go through Cops, we're really close to the back of Russell, so I'm not going to go set up a move into here to Magnussen Beckers as we get another track limit scoring already. So we're going to have to be a good boy for the rest of this race. We're getting caught up behind Russell. The dirty air doesn't give us the best exit, and Gasly's behind us, but we don't actually lose any positions now. Going to lap 4. DRS is enabled, and we have we've got a gap to Russell that is inside 1 second, so we're going to use DRS and overtake, and we're going to use our Mercedes power unit to fly past the worst Mercedes power unit, going up the inside, late on the brakes. Don't think there's any contact there. Did force ourselves through. Actually, it looks like there was contact because Russell's pitting now. I thought I'd given enough room and he'd back out, but I guess there wasn't. As you can see, there's a yellow flag up ahead. It's like one of the Alpha Tauris has retired. No, it's actually a Red Bull of Max Verstappen having a mechanical failure. Unfortunately, that gives us another position to P19 as we dive down the inside of Gasly. We ride the curb massively there. I'm being very reckless. Jeff said to me at the start of the race, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but don't treat it like any other Grand Prix. We're a lot more aggressive this race, compensating for the fact we're not as quick around here. I'll tell you who is quick, the Mercedes. The Mercedes are miles ahead. They're the light blue dots, currently going through the top right hand part of the track now. The next car is a Force India going down the DRS straight. The Mercedes have at least a 20-second lead. They have nearly a pit stop over the rest of the field. As you can see, a massive glut of cars coming in. We're going to be coming at the end of this lap onto the mediums. Hopefully maybe making the overcut to work with DRS. As Giovinazzi's going out for another lap, we're closing up quickly to the back of Magnussen in the pits there, so hopefully we can maybe jump him. A load of other cars in the pits also. As you can see, the Mercedes coming out. My teammate's actually in P2 now, or P3, but he's yet to make a stop this race. That's just how far ahead the Mercedes were. It's absolutely insane. Let's see if the Chunkers Camp boys can give us a good stop. Come in, and it's an awful stop. 2.9 seconds. That's... somebody's getting fired, I tell you. We could have nabbed maybe a position off one of the Haas's or the Alfa Romeo, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. As we come out, we do a Grosjean and nearly drop the car in the pit lane, and we're in P20. Gasly actually on the hard compound tyres, so that's very interesting. He's going to have better tyre wear, but he's going to be really slow at the end of the race. As we're coming out of the pit lane now, Giovinazzi's come out. Excuse me, he's on the hard compound tyres. They're probably very cold. We managed to get the inside of him pretty forcefully, I must say. we've got to be making ground quick because there's a massive DRS train going through onto the old start finish straight now. That's like 10 car. You can see the difference. Like the Mercedes are nearly half a lap ahead of the rest of the field. It's insane. As we go on to that 14, there's a yellow flag, and jeez, that was close. Magnussen, I think it's Roman Grosjean, has a mechanical retirement. Has a mechanical issue. They forced him to retire. His teammate slowed for that and didn't go around him, and I nearly ploughed into the back of Magnussen there, which was. I had to be very quick in my reactions there as we're coming on to lap 18 now. We're flying through this Grand Prix, so not much is really happening. Closing up to the back of Gasly here. See if we can have a look down the inside. He's absolutely. He's so slow on that straight. We dive up the inside, but we run really wide. We have to shift it down to 4th gear. Going through that corner, and then Gasly comes back to us, but we have the inside for the next left-hander, and then we force him out and we keep the position. So in P15, not really where we want to be, is we've got to like 22, probably to the back of Raikkonen now. Jack Aiken's actually in P13. He's having a very good race at his home Grand Prix. This is the home Grand Prix for the entire team, and for both drivers as we blitz past Raikkonen there. Pretty easy pickings. But the AI being a lot stronger in Britain than they have been at previous games could actually prove fruitful for Jack in being the first race where he beats us. But we're going to have something to say about that. We've got 2 seconds and we've got 4 laps left to go. Raikkonen has some form of mechanical issue, Jeff's just informed me. But we actually couldn't do it on the lap 26 now, at the end of the Grand Prix. We couldn't actually close it to the back of Aitken. And we're going to come across the line in P14. And not really the race we wanted. It was an awful race as there's a yellow flag ahead of us for some reason. The AI having a meltdown at the end of the Grand Prix, but yeah, very disappointing race result for us here, despite getting driver of the day and moving up 8 positions. I feel like we could have done a lot more.
Well, they've done a brilliant job, I must say, under some intense pressure to take a well-earned victory here at the British Grand Prix. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes. Your race... So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Now, let's
So yeah,
discuss
disappointing race, sorry, what can I say? I mean, I'm happy for Jack. He's proven that we made the right decision to go with him, to stick with him for the second half of the season, beating me. The Mercedes finishing half a minute ahead of Lance Stroll, who gets a podium. I mean, fair enough to him. Perez dropping down. It's a very mixed up order in the top 10. You love to see it. Yeah, not the best race. We don't even beat Jack in terms of fastest lap. Our fastest lap was like 2.5 seconds off what Hamilton put. So a pretty disappointing race overall. It'd have been P16 or P50 maybe if the retirements hadn't have occurred. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I guess we forget about that race. We improve for next season, and we come back even stronger. We lose 4-2 for this race against Carlos Sainz, and that puts Carlos Sainz back ahead in the rival with 4 races remaining. There's only 1 point in it between us, so we're going to have a good couple of runs at Hungary and Belgium. Hungary, I don't know about this game. Could be a good track for us. Might not be. Belgium is a great track for us, and so too is Italy. Unfortunately, we don't get a top 10, so we miss out on one of the 3 sponsor bonuses. But yeah, I don't really know what to say. It's a pretty disappointing result, as we have a sponsorship renewal for DSB Optics. We're going to manage sponsors. We're probably going to end up going with DSB Optics again, just because they give a good weekly income and they give a pretty decent bonus for a pretty easy an easy task. But we're going to have a quick look at what there is out there. I'm hovering over Atlanta thinking, oh yeah, that's a good result, and then realising, a good thing to go through, then realising that we already have Atlantic signed. We're not going to get that Asiatic Dynamics. Complete 50 laps during a race weekend. Yeah, we signed with DSB Optics again, probably the best thing we can do so far, until we start reliably getting top 10s with both drivers and podiums. We're going to put on a weight redistribution upgrade. We're actually not going to. We're going to do maybe a downforce upgrade. The rear wing upper flap, maybe? No? I don't think we might be going for a drag reduction upgrade. No, we go yes, we go for the drag reduction upgrade because Belgium's coming up. So we want to make the car have as little drag as possible. We might be doing this weight redistribution upgrade. Yes, we are. We're not going to rush the development in time for Hungary. We're going to make sure it goes on with at least some manner of, like, maybe coming on the car, if that makes sense. Going to assign some activities now. G-force training for Aitken. Maybe the chassis team building exercise. We're going to do a market strategy conference, and then I think I will probably go for the sponsor advertisement just to get a bit more money, because we're going to miser this series like no tomorrow. So yeah, we do that, and we're going to advance time now. We get 100 acclaim for that event we attended, and we get both chassis upgrades coming into this Grand Prix, which is very nice. It's going to help us a lot around Hungary. If we venture onto the R&D screen, we might see, yes, we do get back ahead of Renault and McLaren. Ferrari's overtaken Racing Point, and there's still a big gap between myself and Racing Point. As you can see, they're a big gain actually for quite a few teams going into this race. Going into Britain. Going to the next race, we'll have a big gain on our side. It doesn't update until after this race weekend. But anyway, pretty disappointing race overall. If you did like this video, please do like, share and subscribe. Hopefully we'll have a better position in Hungary as we get a resource point generation for this chassis. We spend 2 million on that. But yeah, hopefully Hungary's a lot better for us. We'll have to see how that goes. But I'll catch you all for that race, round 13 of season 1, very soon.